And welcome to Nerd Stalker. I am Adolfo Ferranda here at Nerd Stalker on Twitter, nerdstalker.com, and all the places with a special guest, Renee Dua. Am I pronouncing that correct, Renee?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. From heal.com. And Renee, can you please tell us about yourself a bit?
Sure. My name is Renee Dua, as you said, and I'm one of the founders at Heal. I'm also a practicing physician. I'm a kidney specialist. I'm a mom, also one of my other important jobs.
Yeah, I saw that, right? So in the bio on the website it says what you got a 1-year-old, right? Too.
I have two sons actually.
Oh my gosh.
One is they're both under 3, in fact. So this is a busy place.
Yeah, that's great. So
Yes.
Heal. Let's talk about heal.com. What's happening with
Okay.
that?
So Heal is a solution to get a doctor scheduled to visit you at your location, whether it be your house or your office. We are available to book on iTunes or on the Play Store.
Right.
And it's a pretty cool, it's a technology based way to do an old fashioned thing, which is to have a house call
Right.
effectively.
So I see that it's a service and an app as well. So as you said, it's for iOS and Android as well. What inspired you to create Heal?
When we first started, which is going on 2 years now, we just had our 2 year anniversary. I
Congratulations.
had a very bad experience with one of my sons, and it led us to the emergency room. We were waiting for a very long time. By the time we actually got to see a physician,
Hmm.
my son was already better.
Hmm.
The physician sent us home, kind of surprised that me, a practicing doctor, would think that I needed to bring my son to the ER at all.
Right.
uh, and it was a really frustrating experience. On the drive back, I was having a conversation with my husband, and I said, I'm a physician, you're a serial entrepreneur. We had this horrible experience. Why don't we come together to figure out a better way to put a doctor together with a patient? And what were specifically trying to solve was, one, the waiting. Why should anybody wait that long to see a
Hmm.
doctor? And two, how can we make the entire experience more intimate? Um,
Hmm.
the emergency room should be reserved for emergencies. And the rest of us, the 85% of us that don't have an ongoing emergency, should be able to have a visit with a doctor and build a relationship. That should be the family doctor, the one we resort to for not only our health, but also our wellness.
Right.
And that's really what we've tried to build here.
Well, it's such a glaring gap that everyone has sort of realized
Yes.
is there that you guys have really sort of filled. I know I was injured in Mexico. I had a fracture, and they suggested I get my wrist checked when
Yes.
I got back here to the States, and I had to go into the ER in order for them,
Correct.
just
Yep.
to check it out. And as you
Hmm.
said, I felt ridiculous being in the
Yes.
ER where, you know, that's where
Yes.
an urgent type of matter should
Yes.
be cared for.
Yes. Yeah. And I think many people in certainly your age group, my age group, what we need is a primary care doctor. We need somebody who will tell us what we need to have done, and really kind of help us to avoid the fluff.
Right.
And that's an important part of excellent medical care, is not just having your doctor be a yes man, but having your doctor be a yes, this is important, or no, we don't need to worry about this right now. And I think that's one of the things I enjoy so much about the physicians we work with, is they practice a standard of care, they practice evidence-based medicine. It's not a lot of fluff. And as a patient, you get to focus on being a patient, and you get to be educated by an expert in his or her field.
Well, let's clarify the huge sell here, which almost never happens anymore, is a doctor comes to your home, right?
Correct. Correct. I mean, you cannot beat the convenience. And so when my husband and I created this conceptually, what we were betting on was that if we made it easy for you to see the doctor, you don't have to go anywhere. And
Hmm.
I think that's the $1 million point here, that you would take your health seriously and you would focus on your health. In other words, you've been, putting off that physical exam. You're a young man, you don't think you need it, so you've been ignoring it. But in fact, we made it so easy that you'll do it. Or a woman puts off, learning how to do monthly breast exams, and lo and behold, we go in and do a visit and find something, right?
Right.
I mean,
One of the things I
these are
wanted
the
to ask
kinds
is,
of
when do you
witnesses we
use
talk to.
heal? I mean,
Say that
you're
again.
just, I said, when do you use heal? You were giving us some examples there of,
You know
it's not
what?
only when you're sick, because I thought the first
That's
thing is when
I
I'm
hope
sick.
that, yeah, I hope that your listeners, if they learn nothing else about this service, it's exactly that. This is not a service to use only when you're sick. This is a service to use when you're well, so that you stay that way. And I can't tell you that enough. So many times I've been on visits for what a person defines as an urgent care need, and then I get in there, and the patient and I are having a really intimate, honest conversation about wellness. I went to do a physical exam for a young woman not too long ago, and the truth is she was having a lot of issues with infertility, and she needed someone to talk to. She needed to understand how a woman's cycle works, when to try to get pregnant. These are things that your primary doctor should do for you, but in a 10-minute office visit are
Right.
not going to be accomplished. And so
Right.
that's such a great point, and I'm so grateful that you brought it up. Don't wait to get sick. Call us before that so we
Right.
can make sure it doesn't happen.
Right. Some of us are really lucky too to have like good health insurance, right? So
Absolutely.
annually we get our, our physical. Is this something
Absolutely.
that we could call you guys and
Absolutely. We're in network with all the major PPOs. And right now, while we still do have the ACA in place, many of the plans offer a free physical.
well,
So that means one time a year you can have a doctor come out, do a full examination, take a full history, and have that clean bill of health going forward.
well. So let's talk about the not so $1 million question, pricing. Now that you bring up that
Yes.
type of stuff, obviously the listeners, viewers will want to know, what is this going to cost me?
Yes.
Because when you
So
have a doctor come into your place, you think this is going to be really
for
expensive.
sure. And again, right back to that piece about convenience, because we want to do this with an understanding that we want everyone to access care, we made it very affordable. So if you don't have insurance, the cost of having a physician come to your home with that medical assistant is $99. That
That's
will
great.
include any kind of on site testing, any kind of physical examination, any kind of medical recommendations that that doctor wants to make. If we end up having to prescribe something or send you outside to a lab, then those folks have their own prices. But again, we want to
Mhm.
practice evidence-based medicine, so we're hopefully not necessarily going to need to do those things. If you are a person who has a PPO insurance plan, then we are credentialed with all the major PPOs. So Anthem, Blue Shield, United, Aetna are all supporting our services. In fact, Blue Shield, which is really cool, sent out a flyer to all of their members announcing that their members could use Heal in the state of California.
Wow, that's awesome.
And that is so awesome, because that makes it clear to you that you can stay home and schedule a doctor's visit. And again, that would be inclusive of everything that that doctor and that medical assistant recommend for your health at this stage in your life.
Wow. So you bring up California.
Mhm.
Where is the service currently provided? And as much as you can share the go forward plan in terms
Sure,
of any sort of
absolutely.
further rollout or et cetera.
Absolutely. So right now, we are operational throughout the state of California. That means San Francisco, Silicon Valley, and the East Bay, Los Angeles, Orange County, and San Diego. And then we do have expansion plans, and our expansion plans include places like Vegas, Pittsburgh, Texas, all places where the demand, the patients have demanded it. And once again, the insurers have said, you know what, these are services that our patients can really use for their own health and wellness. So come out here and roll out services.
Wow, that's good. So are you guys hiring by any chance?
We're absolutely hiring. This is a company that's growing fast. We're hiring in the tech department. We're hiring for engineers. We're hiring for people who help with growth and business development. We're hiring physicians and medical assistants. So lots of hiring going on at Heal at the moment.
That's great. We got a good tech crowd here. So you hear that,
Yes,
developers
absolutely.
go work for Heal and help them out. So you guys are getting a tremendous amount of buzz. That's when we heard about you guys. We saw that the Times, CNN, CBS,
Yes,
USA Today, Wall Street
yes,
Journal.
yes.
How is this all feeling and rolling coming about?
It is absolutely so exciting, and I mean, there's nothing more thrilling than knowing you're doing something right and people appreciate it and they're responding to it and their lives are improving from it. Anybody would want that goal for their career choice and their life choice.
Hmm.
It's also a lot of pressure. We've started something and I want to do it correctly and I want to roll this out in such a way that we never forget why we're doing this. This is for the patients and it's for the doctors who help these patients. And I really want to stay very true to those two commitments.
Nice. Can you talk about your entrepreneurial journey a bit? Because you obviously had or have a good career in the medical profession,
Yes.
and when you walk down the startup and entrepreneurial path, it is quite challenging.
Yes, it is. It's not, and it's nothing I've ever been prepared for. When you go to school for a very long time, you really don't get skilled in how to run a business.
Right,
Some of us put our social skills at bay. We put our social lives at bay.
right.
We take a long time to get married and really focus on our careers. So you
Sure.
you couldn't be more correct. And lo and behold, here I am, the founder of a tech company. Um, and I'm in a lucky place. I'm married to the CEO of this company.
Mhm.
He is a serial entrepreneur, so he is a huge support.
That's
And
great.
he helps me to understand his way of thinking, and I help him to understand my way of thinking as a physician.
Mhm.
We also have a phenomenal team at Heal. I cannot say enough about our Heal team, our PR team, who helps get us all this publicity. Everyone we work with is involved in this mission of getting patients access to care. And when you're all on the same page, that whole journey becomes a lot easier. You have compadres who really work with you to achieve a goal. And that is, I mean, again, what better could you ask for?
Right. We have a lot of listeners that are parents as well. Can you
Hmm.
talk about the challenge of being, both the medical profession, being an entrepreneur, and being a parent? I'm a father of a 10-year-old girl, and
Yes,
I know how challenging that can be with,
yes. I
careers and
mean,
businesses,
I, I
etc.
I always say the same thing. We're all trying to make a go of this. We all have our heads in the right places. We all have our hearts in the right places. And it's the hardest thing I find to focus on doing one thing well at a time. I'm not going to admit to you
Yeah.
that I do it.
Yeah.
Um, but whatever I do, I try to give 100%, even if it's three things at once. And we'll see how long I can keep doing that for.
So looking back, what kind of advice would you have given yourself when you started this whole thing?
Um, you know, I am I have been very cautious in every step,
Hmm.
and I think maybe I could let loose a little bit or be a
Right.
little less controlling of the process a little bit. Let other people manage things a little bit
Hmm.
more. But I guess the reason I'm that way is because this is a company that takes care of human beings.
Yeah.
They're patients, they have lives, and we're responsible for them. And as we're growing, I don't want to lose sight of how important that is.
Right.
So it's a terrible answer, but I should let go and let
No,
other people
no.
take the reins a bit. I think that would be the best advice I'd give myself, looking backwards. But I think you understand my position.
Yeah, that's
I,
that's
I
a
don't want to be too careless with other people's that responsibility of taking care of other people.
Yeah, that's a common pattern that we see is the balance between, you want perfection, but at the same time, you have to allow others, to do their thing,
Absolutely, you have
basically,
to
right?
you have to as one of my employees tells me, cut the umbilical cord a little bit.
Right, right. So when you did this, are you guys bootstrapping this? Are you funded in any kind of way? How you?
Yeah, we just announced not too long ago our Series A, and then we had a
That's great.
Series B that followed. So
Congrats.
we have money in the bank at the moment, and
Hmm.
that's a happy place to be.
Excellent. So can you talk about some of your success stories with Heal?
In the way of patients,
Yeah.
is that what
Yeah.
you want to hear about?
Yeah.
You
That'd be
know,
great.
I have to say, as a practicing physician, one of the things I enjoy most about taking care of heal patients is how grateful they are. You know, they're so genuinely relieved to see us, and that, as a doctor, gives me an enormous amount of joy. Some of the stories I've told you are true. The person I spoke to about um, her infertility issues. I once
Hmm.
went on a visit not too long ago for a cough, and a young woman wound up having a breast lump.
Wow.
That was kind of scary, and I'm so glad I was there to help her through that process.
Right.
Um, I've also been on fantastic visits where I've gone to see mom and dad, and mom and dad have said, "This is incredible. We need a pediatrician."
Right.
And
Yeah.
we've really showed that value of being there for the whole family. Um, I've had so many great experiences taking care of patients, going over medication lists. Dr. Dua, why am I on 5 medicines? Do I really need these? I
Mm.
once went on a visit like that, and it turned out that 2 of the medications that this patient were duplicates. In other words,
Wow.
he was taking one more medication than he needed, and it actually could have been harmful.
Mm.
And I'm glad I caught it. That could have been very dangerous for him. So that,
Wow.
I've had a lot of really great experiences like that.
Do you work with athletes too? Or-
We absolutely do. We have all comers. We have athletes. We have people with special needs.
Mm.
We have some of the elderly. We have millennials. We have, people who work at a desk job and just don't have the ability to get out to get a visit. We have parents. I mean, you're a
Oh,
parent. You know how tough it is to
right.
see a doctor. All comers, anybody can see the benefit of a service like this.
That's great. So can you talk about your team at all, the doctors, your board, and the rest?
Yeah, absolutely. Heal has about 70 or so physicians on staff.
Hmm.
We allow physicians to choose in what fashion they want to work with us, if they want to be a contractor or if they want to do this as a full-time employee type option.
Wow.
85% of our patients are seen by physicians who work with us full-time. And that's very important to me because I want the patients to get continuity of care, and I
Hmm.
want the physicians to build a practice this way. Each physician shows up with a medical assistant, and we have medical assistants who are trained to work out in the field and know on how to do house calls. They are the right hand person for our physicians. They manage our supplies and inventory. They help with electronic medical recording. The team itself over at Heal, we have several engineers who work on this product, and people who help with product itself. And then we, of course, focus on growth and business development. I myself work also with people who help train our doctors, train our medical assistants, train our operations people. We have a
Hmm.
team of people who help with logistics and dispatching
Hmm.
as we slowly automate and grow our services. So it's
Hmm.
it's a pretty expansive team of people that I work with.
This is a really challenging industry, vertical. I mean, we always hear of things like HIPAA and these type of things.
Yes,
Was
it's a
Can you
big
tell me
deal.
about that journey of having to deal with all of that
Yes.
kind of stuff?
So Heal focuses on 100% compliance with California healthcare regulation and HIPAA. And that means that everything we do, there's a step in between to protect our patients and to be within regulation when you're credentialed with health insurance, and also when you're running a healthcare company. And
Hmm.
there is a lot to learn there. I mean, I have taken the time to personally learn a lot of healthcare law, dot every I, cross every T, do things correctly
Oh my
so
God.
that we're never, again, it's back to that letting our patients down piece.
Right.
I don't want to be open one day and close the next because I didn't follow a simple law that was
Right.
protecting our patients. And so that's a huge part of training and processes and learning, and it goes into every single thing we do.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, so I want to be respectful of your time here. Now, in terms of Heal, what's happening now? Did you guys have some? I think I heard Dr. Drew mention you guys before.
Doctor, who was that? You
Dr.
cut out.
Drew. I thought I heard a
Yes,
celebrity.
he is on our board of advisors. He's phenomenal. He's wonderful to work with.
How did that come together?
You know, he met us through another investor, and I think he just loved so much what we're doing. Dr. Drew is so special because, like me, he's a practicing physician. So he knows the reality of our job and
Hmm.
he sees some of the frustrations with what we're trying to do. And he has his heart in the right place. He
Hmm.
really wants what's best for the patients, but he sees that the model, the way that it is right now in the office setting, is not going to last. Patients are not getting the kind of care they need, and doctors are not able to, as physicians, protect their own health and wellness and take care of their own spirit.
Right.
So he joined us with this same mission in mind, that he wanted patients to have access to care and he wanted physicians to love medicine again. And he has been, you know, for me, such a point of mentorship. And you know, he's just such an incredibly kind person. On top of it, I've enjoyed working with him so much.
That's great. One of our listeners told us about him touting your
Yes, he does.
Heal
He does. And
very
always asking
enthusiastically.
to do more. Yeah, always
Wow.
asking to do more, which, you know, again, it as a person who's founded this company, I can't tell you how good it makes me feel that the people who advise us believe in us enough to promote us.
Right.
They don't have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, he really takes the extra step for us.
Well, so you touched upon physicians and how currently working in the office sometimes has been a bit disheartening. I know
Yes, it can be.
I know a physician who's retiring now, and he tells me, Adolfo, I don't know I would get back into this game if I was a young man
Yes,
again. Uh,
yes.
and can you touch on that?
Sure. You know, I think this person that said that to you has probably seen quite a bit of the changes in medicine. He's possibly seen the heyday of when, you know, doctors were thought to be the source of truth on medical information and the delivery of that information. He's probably, you know, been a person who really went into medicine with the understanding that it's compassion and care that we really deliver. Sometimes it's bad news that we give, but when we do it with sincerity, it means so much more.
Hmm.
And medicine has kind of become a hide behind your computer screen while you type information in sort
Hmm.
of profession, and spend your time filling out forms and signing your name on the dotted line.
Hmm.
And in the end, what we doctors want is to establish relationships with patients. And what we believe patients need is a source of truth and a source of bedside manner that makes you feel good, that makes you feel comfortable. And
Hmm.
again, it's back to that relief piece. When your heal doctor is there, you feel relieved. And that's what I really think is missing for a lot of us doctors. And I think that's why a lot of doctors join us,
Hmm.
is they want to offer patients that kind of compassion and information at the same time.
Well, so this is great. Another thing I want listeners to keep in mind too, and viewers, is that it doesn't just doctors, from what I've read, aren't just coming to your home, right? I mean, they will come to
Absolutely.
to other
Yeah, if
locations.
you have a private space, we will examine you. And one of the really cool things we do is we go on site to do, for example, at a local tech company, we go on site and we do physicals every other week.
Oh, that's awesome. You hear
And
that, tech
it's
companies
awesome.
out there? You
Say that
gotta.
again.
I said, I'm talking to the tech companies out there. We
Yes.
gotta use this. That's
Yes.
great.
I mean, it's so important. You're sitting at your desk. You need to be educated about health and wellness at your desk, hydrating, skin protection. You know, young people get anxiety, young people get depression. Somebody needs to talk to all you folks about that. And that's what we really strive to do. It's one of my favorite things we do at Heal.
That's wonderful. So, Doctor, I want to thank you so much for all of your time. And where could the listeners, viewers, get more information about you and Heal?
Sure. So our website is www.heal.com. And then you can download our app at the Play Store or on the iTunes Store.
Wonderful. Again, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching Nerd Stalker, listening to Nerd Stalker. Check us out at nerdstalker.com, on YouTube at Nerd Stalker TV, and all of the places. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you can. And we thank you for listening and watching. Take care, everyone.